Well, hello again, and welcome to the help video for the week of April 20th for the Howell 7th and 8th grade percussion. I'm really excited about getting started on this next phase. So we're done with actually accented, so no more with that piece, although you're welcome to continue playing it. It is kind of a fun solo. So what we're transitioning to now is some kind of rudimental drumline type stuff. So the idea here is to get you 8th graders ready for the drumline auditions for East for next year, drumline or front ensemble, depending on which your preference is. And for you 7th graders, you guys are going to be playing in the drumline in Howell next year. So the idea is to kind of give you some exercises to sort of introduce you to that and get you ready for high school for the 8th graders and the auditions that are just around the corner in May. You'll be getting more information about that as we go along, but these exercises will kind of give you a good introduction into that rudimental drumming style that we use for the drumline at East. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started with our first exercise. So first we're going to take a look at Andromeda, which is our accent tap exercise. We named all of our exercises last year after galaxies, since the theme of our show was a celestial odyssey. And so, but this is an accent tap exercise. Virtually every drumline has some version of this exercise. You're going to notice that it's kind of long. After measure 9, it starts over again and starts on the left hand. And so there's a right hand version and a left hand version for all of the exercises that we do. So I want to get started with, I'll just play the right hand version, but practice the right and left hand equally so that you can develop the kind of dexterity that you need to play the rudiments. But this is a fairly basic exercise, but it addresses a lot of the important aspects of rudimental drumming. So let me go ahead and play it for you first, and we'll talk about some of those things. So this is Andromeda, just the right hand version. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you noticed that I'm using traditional grip in the left hand. This is the grip that the snare line uses at East High School, so if you're interested in auditioning for snare, that's a grip that you'll need to learn to use. Don't be intimidated by it. I'm going to include a video by a guy named Frank Chappell who teaches up in North Texas, and he does a really great job of explaining how that traditional grip works, and so I'll include that video as well. But the snares, the basses and the tenors and the front ensemble all use matched grip. So you can do these with matched grip or traditional grip, depending on what your preference is. So the main thing with this exercise is the different stroke types. So you notice that there's 2 heights. We want to keep the same accent height and the same tap height. So we can imagine maybe a 9-inch stick height between the stick and the pad for the accents, and then maybe 3 inches for the taps. In order to achieve that, you need to use basically 3 different stroke types. One is the downstroke, which starts high and ends low. Another one is the upstroke, which is the opposite, starts low and ends high. And then there's the full stroke, which starts and stops at the same stick height. So when we first start this piece, let me look at just the first measure. It starts with an accent, but you'll notice that the second note is non-accented. So I have to use a downstroke to make that happen. If I were to use a normal full stroke, I play the accent, that's fine, but then I've got to play a non-accented note after this, and my stick is too high to do that. So that's the reason that the downstroke is important for this. So if I play the first 2 notes, downstroke, full stroke, and now I'm in good shape. If I look at the third note, it's a non-accented note followed by an accented note. And so that's going to require an upstroke because the first note is non-accented, and then it's followed by an accented note. So these stroke types are how we get from playing accents to playing non-accents. So, the first note is accented, non-accented, non-accented, accented, non-accented, non. So the stroke types that I'm using for the first measure are down, full, up, down, full, up, down, full, and then or down, up, and then it goes into the second measure. And so if we look at the second measure, we can apply the same principle to that. Full, down, full, up. Full, down, full, up. And And that's the way we can navigate these accents. And so practice that on the right hand or the left hand, depending on which one you need the most work with. And try to get that as consistent as you can, keeping the accents at the same height and the taps at the same height and transitioning smoothly between them. One thing to be careful of, don't try to slam the accents. It can be kind of a good cheat at first to grab on with the back fingers and achieve the accent that way. But as you speed the tempo up, you'll find that that's going to make it really, really difficult to play cleanly. And so I encourage you to use your wrist for all of these strokes. Anytime you're playing an accent tap exercise, it's all in the wrist. So that's it for Andromeda. Now let's look at the next one. So next we're looking at our double beat exercise, which is called Whirlpool, another galaxy. And if you are insecure at all about playing double strokes or playing diddles, this is the exercise for you. This is the one that's going to get you there and help you along. So this is our double beat exercise from last year. Virtually every drumline has some version of this exercise. So let me play it for you first, and then I'll point out a couple things to you. So this is Whirlpool. I'm just going to stick with the right hand version for now, but practice the left too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, this is going to work on your diddles. If you look at measure 8, this is something to be careful of. The diddles in measure 8 are actually inverted. They're on the beat in measure 4, and then its mirror is in measure 8. But the sticking is slightly different. In measure 4, it's just 1 E and a 2 E and a. All the diddles are starting on the beat. But on measure 8, they actually start off the beat. So pay close attention to the sticking there. Let's see. Let go of the stick a little bit. This is something you really need to get comfortable with if you're playing a lot of double strokes. And they're not all happening with the wrist here. There's just no way. This is kind of the opposite of the accent tap exercise that we just played. So you've got to let go of the stick. If the stick can move around in your hand a little bit, then the stick and the pad are going to do a lot of the work, and then you can engage the back fingers and get a little bit more sound out of the second note when you play a double stroke. But letting that stick move around in your hand and experimenting with that is a really important step of this. And then once you've got that stick moving around in your hand a little bit and the stick is bouncing, then you can start to engage those back fingers to bump up the volume of the second note. Start slow, work this with a metronome, do it a measure at a time. If you have questions about this one, please let me know. But I hope you enjoy playing these two exercises, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys do the assignment, and hopefully it helps you along with the drumline auditions coming up around the corner. So thank you very much, and have a good time.